conversation.
Okay, girls, this is Vito, and he is a 15-star Diamond Elite coach. He's the co-founder of Team Rockstar Fit. Is everyone muted?
Thank you.
He is the co-founder of Team Rockstar Fit and creator of Fitness Entrepreneur's Life. And he's going to take it from there.
Sweet. All right, let's do this, though, real quick off the bat. If you are new to Zooms, and this is your first time on a Zoom, and you have background noise, mute yourself.
That little microphone right in the corner.
There we go. And then Natalie, that could still be you that's got some background there. Hey, Tierney, if you're logged in, you can actually mute everybody if you need to or not, but I think we're good. All right, we're ready to rock and roll. Hopefully you guys know that I'm all about the wine, and you guys came with wine because we're going to have a little wine side chat tonight and start figuring out what we need to figure out in order to kind of get everybody to that next level. And it's like I've been having, we just came off the men's training camp, and thank you so much for the little introduction, for Tierney inviting me to get to the call. I love getting to connect with coaches that I don't get to talk to on an everyday basis and whatnot, and really dig into some of the messages and the things that I'm kind of seeing that are epidemics out amongst coaches and teams, that these are the recurring things and thought patterns that are getting in the way, that if we don't talk about them honestly, if we don't put them out on the table, if you're not willing to hear the truth about them, it will be what cuts you from your success. Because at this point in the business, it's, I've been in the business 6 years, Trina about 8 years, and I've been an entrepreneur for about 12 years, that at this point we know what success is about. We know what makes this business work. We know the data, we know the stories, we know the truths, we know everything about it, that the only thing you got to do is you got to kind of look inside yourself and ask yourself, what do you need to do to hit the next level? Are you in your own way of success? And if you keep doing what you're doing, you may never get there. So what do we got to start having conversations about is what makes up the ability to be successful in this business? Because we know point blank that success is a mental game. Making money is a mental game. I know a lot of coaches want to be on these kind of calls and stuff like that. And it's this whole idea of, hey, can you share me the one strategy? How are we going to do social media? What's the one tactic this? What's the 5-step process for that? And that very way of thinking is what's wrong. Because there is no one step this, there is no tactic, there is no 5-step process. Sure, we've learned processes for GSRs and this, and how do you get more out of your social media and all that stuff. But bottom line, it's about you and how you think and what you're putting into that. Because we have just way too many people that are hoping that some existential, some strategy, some system is going to be dropped in their lap. And you're like, yeah, that's never going to come, because you got to simply stop wanting it so fast and stop not wanting to do the work. You actually got to be okay with the idea that this is going to take a long time. You got to have a minimum of 5-year plan to be like, I'm going to be in this for 5 years. And I'm going to keep on going, because that's what the mission demands of me. And there is not going to be anything that comes along that bails me out of that. And if I'm not the kind of person that wants to do the work, that wants to take the time, as Gary Vee dropped on the men's training camp when we were there, he did an amazing job, ladies, where he kind of turned around and he's just like, I got a mission while I'm here serving with you guys. And this is going to be interesting as all hell are you guys all coming to Summit? You all coming to Summit? Gary Vee is presenting. He's keynoting. I do not know how that is going to go over, because boy, that is going to be a scary freaking thing, because the man just spares nothing in telling you like it is. And he had this great point. I thought it was so apropos because obviously what's going on with the men in the industry isn't much different than what's happening with the women. As much as the men want to be pansies and say ladies can do it better than me and whatnot, they just are bullshitting themselves. They're just lying to themselves about that. And that's their excuse. That's their cop-out. That's their complaint. And Gary Vee said this one great thing, and this is like, we all just know this. This is just fact. And if you're not willing to face up to this, then you could just find the mirror and square up yourself and be like, you don't got it. Because the number one thing that we can tell from anybody that has one, anybody that is successful in life, anybody that is getting after in life, there's one thing that we can tell above all others, that you will not be successful and you don't have what it takes the minute you make complaints or you have excuses. Bam, pegged you against the wall. You don't got what it takes. Unless you own up to that, own your own bullshit, and start actually being like, okay, there ain't anything going to come around here until I start facing up with this fact that if anything is wrong, if I'm not happy with where my business is at, if I'm not happy with the people I have in my business, if I'm not happy the way my social media is working, if I'm not happy with the way I feel like I'm selling, if I'm not happy with that, it's your fault. No one else's. And this is an epidemic across the thing because it's that we don't get, this isn't a rare question. Hey, how do we deal with the people that have excuses on our teams? How do we deal with the complainers and whatnot? I'm like, be brutally honest and tell them point blank that like, hey, unless you ever decide to get past this and stop making excuses and stop complaining, you're done. You're done. And I think that's a fair conversation to have with coaches. It's not an easy one. It's not always a fun one, but that's what leadership is about, right? And we're here to try to lead people to something else. Because even your customers, if you're not willing to call their bullshit and to call them out and be like, the whole, I couldn't do it, my kids and my whatnot. And especially when you're the moms, every time a customer says that, you just snap a picture of you with your kids and you be like, what are these? What are these little monsters here? But yet I still do it because I've gotten past my excuses. I made a choice to not let excuses define me, to not let my complaints define me. When are you going to do that? So we have to do that on a customer base, but here we are as coaches trying to be like, well, are you using excuses for why you can't work the business? Are you using excuses for why, I'm not following up, I'm not going in the back office, I keep pestering like my upline about stuff, I'm not taking responsibility to know everything I can know about the business? What is it? And why are you doing that? Now I can't speak for all of you on the call. I don't get to know you as many as well, but we kind of know by data in the business and just in general in business and success. There is that like 2% to 4% that we know people are action takers. They have the right attitudes, the right philosophies, the right beliefs. They've already dumped the poison in their heads where they're like, I'm not blaming mommy and daddy anymore. I went to therapy. I got it out. I'm done using the excuse of my upbringing, my life, my circumstance, my situation. Shit, we live in America. Right there, we won the lotto. That we're like, we're in the best country in the freaking world. Shut the fuck up if you can't go make it happen. You just got to get the hell up and decide, like, why am I the thing that's in my way? Oh, I don't want to feel salesy. That's your freaking problem. That's your attitude right there about why you suck in the business. We don't have to go any further. Oh, I'm worried somebody's going to think I'm salesy. Cool, I can already tell you're going to fail in this business. Done. Unless you get over it, unless you put that shit behind you. Gary Vee did it. So I don't know if you guys know Gary Vaynerchuk and whatnot, but he's outspoken that he thinks the network marketing and MLM model is a shitty model. And he's like, I'm not saying the model as in like every company out there. He's like, just like there's shitty small businesses, just like there's shitty entrepreneurs, just like there's shitty corporations. He's like, but there's a couple vulnerabilities about this model in particular that if you don't pay attention to them, they'll be what kills you. And he's just like, you have a lot of people that come into a business like this and they get fascinated by the idea of making all this money and living this freedom lifestyle, but they're not truly passionate about the product and selling it as if they were willing to shout it from the high heavens. You know, back in 3.0, when I share that whole thing about have your commandments, if you had the cure for cancer, would you freaking be shouting it? You wouldn't give a shit what somebody says on the side of the street. You're like, I got the cure for cancer. Doesn't make a difference if you think I'm selling you. Get the fuck out of my way. I need to get this out into people's path because this is what life demands right now. Where he's just like, you don't have enough people that do that. You have people that are just like, I think I can make a quick buck on this. I think I can sell this thing. I can figure out some conversions. I can figure out sales pages, landing pages, this, that, and da-da-da. And I can do that. And I don't really be a product of the product. And I don't really believe that it is that thing that can go out and change lives. So he's like, gut check number one. Look through your coaches, your people. And he's like, if you see people that aren't truly passionate about the product, call them out on it and be like, hey, let's be honest. If you don't love this product, you're just a pitchmeister, you're just a salesman. There's nothing authentic. There's nothing genuine about that. That's what gives the world a bad name. That's what gives sales a bad name. That's what gives network marketing a bad name. So get out. It's much better for us, the brand, and you. Because to find success, you're gonna have to work. 0 people have ever found major success without hard work. 0. So this whole notion that this business model, just somebody will come along and we'll find that coach that blows it up for us and I'm gonna make a ton of money without doing it. He's like, that's the other reason you guys are vulnerable. He's like, this concept that I'm just going to recruit other people and they'll do the work. 0 times in history has that happened. Luckily, we're protected from that in this business model with the fact that it isn't a pyramid scheme. But you still have this mindset that people have that somebody else will do the work. And he's like, that's dangerous. He's like, another thing to screen for in your people is, do they freaking love this business? And they would shout it from the high freaking heavens, just like the product. Because he's like, if you have any coaches that are in the closet about the business, or they're afraid to go out there and market the business the same way they market the product, well, he's like, you got 2, well, I add this to my discussion about this. I think if you have coaches that love the product, but are scared or embarrassed or nervous or afraid of the business model, number one, if they're worried about other people's judgments and stuff like that, that's typically because they're really worried about their own feelings, not what others are saying. When you're worried about people judging you for being a network marketing business, that's your own shit you haven't internalized yet and you haven't gotten through yet. And that's, again, the absurd excuse that you put on other people and what they think of you. But if you only love the product, but you love these products, you love Shakeology, you love all that stuff, well, then hell, stick to the retail side. Don't bring on coaches. Don't sign up things. Don't go try to build a team because you won't be able to lead them. You won't be able to show them how to go out there and do the things that we have to do to go get this business model and this opportunity in people's hands. So stick to the retail side. But if you do love the business, you won't go that. Then go grow the team. Then go grow that happen. But if you haven't made peace with that yet yourself, I mean, how would you ever anticipate that you could be successful in this business? And I think that's just the question you got to ask yourself, deep and hard, what you think about that. And I'm not trying to be like a douche about it, although I often am a douche, that it's just a freaking hard challenge, man. And isn't it way better that we say, let's have this discussion now? Because then each of you, I don't know, what the structure of this team is or whatnot. Tierney pulled this call together. So I'm going to assume Tierney is the head of this, but it's going to allow Tierney the freedom to really be able to be like, I know, and each of you as you decide whether you're going to grow your team or not, it's going to allow you the freedom to really decide where do you put your time best? Who are the people, not to get frustrated with people that they're like, you know what, I didn't really get any invites out. I don't know how to do it authentically and genuinely and whatnot. When I hear that, I'm like, shit, you just don't care to get it out. Because if you're like, I can't figure out how to put it authentic, I'm like, read a book. Take a course on sales, do something, get you on your upline and be like, hey, I need to figure this out. I don't want to use a single fucking excuse about why I can't put this business to some people's hands. So let me ask you this. What the hell do I do? How do I get it out? How do I share it? Is it I got to understand people's problems more of their frustrations, more of their struggles? How do I paint their ambitions? How do I go out there? Maybe I should study sales a little bit more. Maybe I should study some marketing a little bit more because this matters so much that I got to figure this business out because I have to go put this in people's hands. Do you talk about it with just that level of energy the way I could just flip it on? I can just flip it on because I've done it so many times and that's how I feel. That's what I believe. That dictates me being able to, like, right now, just be like, I can turn it on like a second. No effort, no will, because I've also conditioned it. I've trained it. It's been 6 years of being in that mode, let alone just my other entrepreneurial modes. That, are you willing to work at it at that level? Where you're like, yeah, I'm not going to use a single freaking excuse that could be in my way. So what do I got to do to learn this, master it, practice it, develop it, hone it, fine tune it? Because people are waiting for me to get out there with this message. Do you even have that message? When you're worried about how do I go out there and put stuff out, here's the one thing I would tell you guys above all things on, like, you worry about your social media, you worry about your being authentic. I'm like, have you developed your messages yet? Do you guys have messages you want to put out into the world? Where you're like, I could be like, a message is simple. Like, when I had my studio, I still believe this now, but it was in particular part of my brand when I had my studio. I believed that moms were the linchpin of society. Where I'm like, they are the strongest force in the house. They basically could turn dad's head any way they freaking want to. And obviously, Big Fat Greek Wedding, if you guys don't know that little reference, she's like, he is the head, but I am the neck. It's perfect. It's so true. And nonetheless, but when you really understand that she dictates the house, she makes most of the buying decisions, she's really is the nurturer of most of what happens in the family, she develops most of the early years of the child and whatnot. I'm not saying men don't, but the way society is structured, this is, and the way mothering nature is what happens. That I'm like, that belief drove everything that we did. Everything from the fact that I'm like, if we can put the right messages and the right opportunities and the right tools and help moms overcome the things that we're going to make a big shift in what's happening in the health of this nation. So mom is our avatar. She's our audience. She's the person we peg in. We need to know her story, her family, her life, her ups, her downs, her every situation. And are we thinking about every which way that we can simply serve her? So what does she struggle with? Because mom's time isn't, oh, I don't know what workout to do. Should I do P90X or should I do T25? Should I have a gym membership? I thought, like, that's just nonsense. And the fact that if you're doing a lot of still social media where you're like, I just post, hey, here's my fitness move. Hey, here's a snapshot of my food plate. Hey, like, not bad content, but it ain't good content because there's 460,000 other Beachbody coaches doing the same exact thing. And then there's 500,000 fitness professionals doing the same exact thing. You'll never step out because you've never developed a message. Anybody with opposing thumbs today can Google that. Can go up to Mr. Googs and be like, how to do exercise routine, how to cook this meal, how to eat healthy. They can Google that. That's free. Until you position yourselves as thought leaders, as a tribe builder, to whatever tribe you want to go out and build, whatever messages you want to share. Like, most of our messages now are aimed at fitness coaches, fitness business owners, fitness professionals, because that's my tribe. I know their world. I know where they're struggling. And all my content, all my tribe building is around how the hell do I help them go from where they are to where they want to be? What do they struggle with? Oh, they're sucking with their social media right now. Let's make a social media course on building their content and try to teach them that. That becomes one of our product lines. Great. Oh, they're struggling with adding nutrition and whatnot. Oh, let's insert the Beachbody business. All that stuff. Have you sat down and just been like, I got a message in the world. I got to aim it at somebody. And you're willing to go out there and deal with all the haters, all the naysayers, all the hackers that come at your life? Have you done that work? Or is it still just like, this is a Beachbody business. I sell shakes. I sell fitness DVDs. And that's what I keep marketing. Because at some point they're like, well, all right, well, Tierney does that, and Natalie does that, and Hannah does that, and Amy does that, and God, I see everyone. It looks like a new program just came out because 155 million people just posted 22 Hardcore. You want to sign up with me? 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 And people are literally like, I don't even know what's different between any of these people. So who's the cheapest? Is there any way that it's cheaper to any one of you than any other one of you? Oh, you can get it like on Amazon and you're willing to still coach me on the sly and whatnot, not worry about, all right, I'll go with you. And we're bastardizing ourselves. We're commoditizing ourselves as compared to each one of you is a voice, can be a leader, can go make a difference in the world, but you got to just start choosing that. You're like, I have something I want to do with my time on this planet. And that's what this business is merely a vehicle for. Have you done that? Have you done that work to just be like, I think I got some messages. And it could be just as simple as messages, just like, you know what? People that get to come home and be present with their kids make better parents. Okay. Because a lot of parents want to feel like, I can be a better parent, but I'm not being a great parent right now because I barely get to spend time with my kids. But I have to work this job. I got no other way. We're in debt. We're in this and that. And you're just like, hey, you ever felt like you wanted to be a better parent because you feel like you're sometimes checked out, you're not there, but you got the stress of the world sitting on your back? I remember when I learned the fact that, like, you know, you can build a side hustle and one day replace the boulders that are on your back doing something you love. It's taken me 6 years to really get there. But now that I'm here with my kids all the time, I'm proud that I chose a side hustle with something I love versus a boulder on my back doing a job I hate. And now I get to be present with my kids. Now, I'm making that up off the top of my head, but that's at least, if your tribe is that woman, that guy that wants that, they're like, damn, like, I see how Tierney thinks. I feel that, but I don't know how to do that myself. Maybe if I just keep watching what Tierney's putting out there, I might pick up some more little nuggets. And maybe one day it'll be right to take action. Because the message is way more important than just what you do or how you do it. A lot of coaches keep putting just the what and the how out. The what, the products, the what, the exercise, the what, the nutrition, the what, the business model, the how, challenges, the how we send out invites, the how we get on these calls, the how we do this, as compared to the why you do it and the reason you do it. Get in touch with that as coaches, as humans. And a lot of this other stuff that I saw, excuse making, complaining, know-it-alls. That's another one of my favorites. People that think they know it all. Every team has them. Every team has that kind of stuff. And my favorite thing with those kind of people is I'm like, sure, let's see how the results look. Because I guarantee you, all of you will have, oh man, I had this trainer that used to work for me when I had my studio. The size of his ego and the size of his know-it-all thing was, I mean, you couldn't fit the damn thing through our freaking studio door. And we have coaches like, everyone has a coach like that. Everybody, multiple coaches like that. Bottom line in life, results speak. So anytime I got to know it all, I just take a look at their life and I'm like, where are you in life? How are you just happiness wise? How are you financially? How are you in your business success? How are you doing in all the realms of what we deem are things that we value in our lives? And I'm like, oh, not making what you think you're making, not doing what you don't have the time off you want, don't have the ability to vacation, whatever the things are, again, that person values. I'm like, shut the fuck up and sit down. You don't know shit. And that's, again, back to what we're talking about, that making money and success is the mental game. When you think you know it all, but you can't prove it, you don't have the results to back it up, I'm just a person like, sit down and shut up. Or go line up the actions. Gary Vee shared this one thing that is just like, hey, the reason I can be kind of a bit of a douche to you guys and whatnot and just kind of tell you the truth is like, one, I'm not connected to any of you. So he's just like, I got nothing from any of you. I could just tell you the cold truth. And he's like, and you're going to go process it in your own little corner. And he's like, 33% of you should get up and walk out of this room and go home and get out of this business because you can't take it. But he's just like, otherwise, sit down and either show that post-game. He's just like, instead of sitting there talking, I got this, look, watch me. My other favorite thing, coaches that roll in, that like, you watch me, I'm going star diamond, I'm going diamond, I'm going this and that. And I'm like, how about you just do it instead of talk about it? He's just like, I'm up here sharing with you data and numbers and things that I see in your model. Because like, I went and did my research. I went and studied. Knowing I was coming here, I went and studied your business. And he's just like, most of you just don't do. How about after you score the touchdown, after you win the game, then you just come out and let your actions speak for yourselves? Something that you just want to think about when it comes to that. Because if you guys got those people on your team or you're dealing with that, don't be afraid to call them out. Call them out on that. If you guys are going to be strong leaders, ladies, in your leadership growth, you got to remember this one thing. You're supposed to determined by the next, and your ability to keep working towards the next. So in your own growth as leaders, we teach this in 4.0, that you have to be willing to challenge other people and teach them how to think. So if you have the excuse maker, the complainer, the know-it-all, that kind of stuff going on in your business, you got to be willing to be like, well, let's take a look at this and be like, really, in life, from what I've seen and what, I can look at Trina, I can look at Vito, I can look at this, I can look at Carl, I can look at this. All of them across the board have said this, and this, and the actions prove the bottom of the day. So if you think you know it all and you got this whole business under control and you got this whole thing, let's look at the results you've been getting. Do they prove true? If not, maybe do you think it's another way? Maybe do you think you should shut up and just do more? Stuff to think about. Let's talk real quick about the notion that there's, we talked about the notion that there's a secret sauce, tactic, strategy. If you're waiting for that, you're done. Not going to happen. I'd rather just burst that bubble right now for you and just be like, ain't ever going to happen. If you're waiting on that, can you learn some tactics, learn some strategies, learn some stuff? Absolutely. But if you know how to think about them, when the tactic changes, when it's not Google, but now it's Facebook, when it's not Facebook, but now it's Snapchat, when it's not Snapchat, but now it's whatever needs to be invented, human psychology will never change. Human behavior will never change. Understanding how you think and how other people think will never go away. The tactic and the strategy might. So you can learn those in the short term, but knowing how to go out there and not want it fast, want to do the work, that will change who you are. that will make you be the person that earns success. And then you deserve success. So don't look for that. And if you have those kind of people on your team that are waiting for that, just have that conversation with them. Hopefully you guys all back in your GSR process. You know, I always, again, this is my style. So you don't have to follow this, but like, I just, obviously, as you can tell from this call, I just do a little tough love. I just come in, I'm like, fuck it, let's just talk the truth. Let's drop a little tough love. Let's knock each other around in the heads a little bit. If you don't like it, we don't have to be friends. If you like it, we're probably going to hang out and rock at the top of the mountain. It's all good. Doesn't matter to me. Greatest thing is like cool. It's always the fair terms that we can enter into a thing. But if you did on your GSR with your coach is like, hey, do I have the permission that if you're asking me to get you to a dream, you want to retire your spouse, you want to leave a job, you want to travel with the kids, you want to do this and that. Well, that shit ain't coming on yellow brick roads, and it ain't going to be a little picnic basket on red balloons will float into your house and give that to you. You're going to go out, you're going to grind, you're going to earn it. That just because I've never seen a single person in the world not do it that way. So I'd rather burst that bubble now and say, do I have the permission to give you tough love if the time comes that I need to? And if they're like, yes, you're like, cool. Let's just say that one more time. Did you say yes? Yes, cool. Because Lord knows if this happens, and if you don't have to do it, it's all great. But I need you to remember this day. I need you to remember that you gave me permission because it's because I care about you. I love you. I want to see you achieve your dreams. And every now and then, we need those people in our lives. I would actually coach you guys to take a look at your circle, your inner circle, if you will. And one, kick the loser friends and loser coaches out. Kick them out. Just be like, I don't need this dude. Like, I had to kick a sister out. I'm like, you're a douche. I need to get rid of you. That happened years ago. Life has never been better. That it's just the reality. Even coaches. I remember when I was just struggling with some stuff with coaches when 15-star, lost it, had to get it back and all that. And it was just like I had to look through my coaches to be like, who are the ones that just are a constant drain? And the beautiful thing about this business is you're all independent business owners. So you get to have that thing that I'm like, hey, it's awesome that like if you're not matching the requirements of how I say I like to work with people, just that little Zoom button, I just don't ever hit that little start meeting anymore. You're just on your own. Go rock it, all on your own. The last time I hit leave meeting, I'm like, peace, that's the last time we did that. And I think that's a good place to be. So when you have your coaches in that environment, you're able to just be like, I'm going to weed out the losers and the deadbeats and the excuse-itis and the complainers and all that. I always believe in a 1, 2, 3. I'm going to give you this many opportunities to freaking get it together, get whatever. Otherwise, you're on your own. You ever decide to come back, come back. Cool. Otherwise, out. What I would coach you to do is find 5 to 7 people that you are willing to turn to and say, hey, listen, I'm trying to freaking crush it out there. And I'm really trying to like take this business, take my life, take my family's life, get my mission. I don't know. Again, I don't know what it is for each of you, what the thing that you want to get out there is. But you're like, I'm trying to live a life that's not the ordinary life. So I need you guys to call me on my bullshit. I need you to call me every time I'm being lazy, I'm using excuses, I'm doing whatnot. Do not let me get away with anything that's mediocre. And you can freaking, I don't care if you publicly shame me, do it. I don't care what you do. Hold my feet to this because I want a different life. So you're my circle that I can trust will come to me and tell me what I don't want to hear because I need to hear it and I need to do something about it. Go find those people. And go be that for somebody else. Maybe you just got to turn around. You're like, boom, we just heard, we're all on this call. Cool, let's partner up. We're our 5, this and that. Because your mom, your dad, your best friend, your husband, your wife, they might not want to be that person, even though hopefully they should be. But they might not want to be that. They're not doing this. They're not on a call like this. Like you guys already, you guys have carved out you're different than the ordinary person because you just made a call like this. And for some reason, you guys thought this was going to be a good time. Tierney didn't set you up for this. She was just like, crap, I thought it was going to be a fun time. This ain't Trina. Shit. She comes in with like a lot of fun stories and fun stuff. This guy's a dick. He's just dropping it hard on us. Not fun. But It'll still get you to sex because a third of you, again, math. This is the problem about being an entrepreneur for freaking 12 years, math. And you're backed up by data. A third of you are like, oh God, this guy's an ass. I don't care about him. A third of you are like, this is good stuff, but won't act. A third of you will be like, I'm going to go do shit with this. And that third are going to be the one that we're always talking to. It's always that third. And I share that with you in all honesty and openness because I want you guys to know that when you're doing your team calls, when you're doing your stuff, you should be looking for the third that are doing. And that's always who you're speaking to. That's always who you're on. Some might rise, some don't feel guilty that you can't save everybody, that you can't pull everybody, that you can't do whatever, because that's just not our responsibility. Self-efficacy in life, our own ability to accept responsibility for where we are, is the determining factor of whether you're going to be successful or not. Not somebody else gives it to me. Back to Gary's whole point of like, if you ain't liking stuff, it's your fault. You don't like those coaches, you brought them on. You closed that guy. You closed that girl. Your fault. I hate these customers. You put them in your challenge. You did it. You did whatever. Oh, sometimes I hate my freaking husband. You married this stupid motherfucker. Not our fault. I mean, Gary, like, he was hard where he's just like, I know. He's like, when he was talking about kick your loser friends out and whatnot, he's like, they could mean leaving a partner. And he's like, that's tough to hear. And there hasn't been, actually, this might be the first 4.0 in the year and a half that we've been running 4.0. This could be the first time we didn't have somebody go through 4.0 that didn't wake up and be like, I'm in the wrong relationship. I'm with the wrong person. This person holds me down, belittles me, does this and that. And we've had at least one person always head towards that. I don't know if that's necessarily the record I was looking for, but it's something I'm proud of because somebody woke up to saying, I deserve better and I want more from my life. And I'll take that all the time over star, diamond crap. I'd rather just see a person go live a life fulfilled than anything like that. That you just got to take a look at that and start understanding that you guys are really looking for those people that want to be in this game, love this business, embrace it, love the product, love everything that's going to about it. You're able to go out there and start really calling each other out and be like, hey, listen, man, let's get real about why you're not doing this. And they might be like, I'm afraid what people think. And you got to be like, well, why? Like, let's just call it spades here and be like, why? Why are you so afraid to go out there? And you got to be willing to help them dump the poison that's still in their heads from whatever thing. Be like, hey, here's the card of a therapist. Go get a therapy session. Go do something. Let's close the doors. Again, if you guys haven't been through 3.0, shut the doors on the past. Lock it out. It means nothing today. Don't give a shit about what other people say. What happened to you in your past doesn't exist anymore. You choose today and every day who you want to be, what you're about. Self-awareness. In essence, we teach that in 4.0. Self-awareness. The idea to create your own identity, your own psychology. You choosing, how do I want to show up in the world? How do I want to show up with others? And what are the factors that make me successful? Because once you identify those things, you're like, I can play into all of those strengths and I can punt the weaknesses. I can punt for you football fans. Hopefully, want to use a football fan out there? Probably not the best analogy to be used on a call with all women, but I'm assuming, yes. Sweet. Who's your team, though, Carrie Jane? If it's not the Giants, I don't really care. That. Otherwise, who's the Giant? Who put their hands up as they're a Giants fan? Natalie. Extra coaching session just for you, minus all these non-Giant fans. Screw them. I'll give them totally advice I'd give to a Patriots fan, which would be great because I would give Patriot fans all the worst advice. I'm like, don't worry about having passion for the business. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about this and that. Obviously, my wife is a major Patriots fan. It's a constant battle. It's a constant battle. That's why I don't coach her anymore. But anyway, ditch those loser friends. Saying you want success and making $1 million is not the same as doing it and earning it. So if you guys want this business to work for you, just stop saying it and go do it. Make it happen. Everybody can wish it, desire it. It's not the same thing as earning it and making it happen. So a couple things that hopefully I covered, some of the stuff that was around the house that I felt that would hit a couple things there now if we needed to. Actually, one last one. I saw this, and it's funny because this comes up again. This is another major thing. Carl addressed this as well. This idea that we're saturated. We're at 460 some odd thousand coaches. The whole idea of because you're going to run into this over the years as you talk to people, because they're going to be like, oh, you guys are everywhere. There's already too many. I've already missed the boat, this and that. And understandable, but not real. Because the reality is, by current estimates right now, 2025, 1/5 of the world's global population will be overweight and obese. So we're not decreasing the demand for what we do as fitness coaches. Unfortunately, it's still increasing, especially because now it's going global. So with a rising global obesity epidemic, we need more people, let alone just in this country, we haven't yet armed enough people. So, Carl likes to peg the number that I think he's at like 2 million coaches, and we're at a good level where I feel if every coach out there is helping 3 to 5 people, we're impacting 6 to 10 million lives. Because I can feel we're at a good spot when we get there. So we got plenty of room before all of that. Let alone, you just simply have to understand 460,000 coaches doesn't mean that it's 460,000 coaches actually actively working the business and making it work. Because, just take a look at the numbers of things like the number of Star Diamond coaches, the number of 10-star, 5-star. It's in the 1/110th of a percentage type stuff. Out of the number of coaches, we're less than 1%. So you're just not enough people are being successful at this yet, because we got a lot of dabblers. We got a lot of the mediocre people. We got a lot of people that stuff that we covered tonight. They're excuse makers. They're complainers. They're know-it-all. They don't want to work. They think somebody's going to come do it for them. They haven't gotten the garbage out of their heads. They think all that stuff. And they just mentally aren't in the game yet. They're job people. They're not really serious about becoming freedom entrepreneurs and having this kind of a business model really dictate the future of their lives. They just think it's a good idea, but they don't take action on it. So time we scrub all those freaking losers out, you're really actually, we've got nothing but upgrowth right now. And we haven't even gone global yet. We haven't gone global. We're only in the US and Canada. We haven't even gone, and they are planning that. I'm on the cab. I know what they're planning. So it's more like, dudes, now's the time. You better start now, because it's not like I can get this business tomorrow. It might take us months, years to really get you to the point where you're operating at a sophisticated, natural level for you to capitalize on what's coming. So let's start doing the work now. So all of you right now, you're gonna be faced with that choice. How serious do you want to turn this around right now? We are like, hey, Tierney, whoever your upline is, be like, I think I'm going to go carve out an hour just to go master the back office. I want to go make sure I'm freaking studying some more social media, because if we're going global, shit, I got to freaking figure that out at some point. I better get good at it, because marketing, social media marketing in particular, 6 months before you even start to see a minimal return on it. Because at this point, the entire market knows most people are fly by night. They already know most people are fly by night. They're already especially just because the nature of this business, they're like, no, they're a beach body coach. Yeah, awesome. Another one. They'll post about a challenge for a little bit, then they'll disappear. Then they'll come back up when a new program's out, and they'll try to think hey, if I post this, don't you love me? Don't you all know why I'm the greatest? Come buy from me. But I haven't heard from you in like 3-4 months. But now you want to sell something, so now you're back. Oh, you're one of those. But I've been actually following this person over here who's got a real story, who's out there all the time, who's grinding it, has been digging it out. God, I remember her first video sucked. But she still was brave enough and she had the courage to be out there. Even when they're afraid. Like, my favorite is watching the growth of our, like, you know, coaches that are shy, coaches that are weird, coaches that are awkward, coaches that are freaking, like, all the things. Because they're the ones that have the most courage to go out there because it's not natural and they dig through it. And they're like, I put it out there because I had something in me that I had to get out. But they gave the permission for the upline to be like, hey, let's talk about that though. Do you think that came across? This and that? Like, my wife is going through it right now with one of her coaches. And it's painful. It's tough. But he's receptive to it because the business matters. And he's willing to do it. And you're still like, come here. And you put your arm around that person. You're like, I like you. I like you because you're willing to go out there. You don't care what other people are thinking because the mission's more important, the message more important than other people. But if you practice, if you study, if you do, you'll eventually outgrow that. I mean, it's a classic example of that for those of you that follow Brendon Burchard, is he's just like, I was a shy, introvert guy. Because like once I chose and decided that I wanted to go out there and get this message out, I challenged myself to stuff. And he's like, I started by, my challenge was, I'll walk up to every girl because it was painful for me to talk to girls. He's like, I'll go walk up to everyone. And he's like, I would first walk up and I wouldn't say anything. I'd be like, and he's like, it was months of that. Then it was months of me walking up and saying the stupidest shit. And then it was finally months of me actually putting together some cohesive sentences. And then I started to go through it. But he was willing to work through that whole curve because something mattered. Something about what he's trying to do mattered. I remember I went to one of his events where it was $10,000 for 2 days to be in a room with him. And I'm sitting next to Darren Hardy, who's a student in this room, Robin Sharma, Daniel Amen, Jeff Walker, one of my other mentors, that this was a room where you're like, these people, like, these are the top people, already 8-figure earners out there. And Brendon addresses this one thing. He's like, so you're all already successful. All of you are already making, just to be in this room, you have to be making a minimum of $500,000 or more just to be in this room, just to play at this level of what you're willing to be out there. And some of you are even higher. You're in the 7-8 figures. He's like, and you want me to show you the strategies and the tactics and how I built my funnel and how I did this and that. Kind of the same way all of our coaches ask us for the one thing, the strategy. What's this thing? How do I make this happen? How do I funnel that? How do I make that sale? Da, da, da. And he's just like, I'll share that with you on day 2. And he's like, the reason I got to where I'm at is because before any strategy, before any tactic, the message supersedes everything. When your strategies and your tactics and your things are backed by your message, you can change the world. Then sales come easy because you have a mission, you're creating impact. People, tribe, remember we're tribal as a society. We still haven't shifted from tribal society. When people feel part of community and feel part of being connected, they want to do that to support the greater good of the whole community. That's why everybody's like, you go hunt, you go plant, you go sow that, you go do that. That's how we all survive in this tribe. So when you tie people to mission and to tribe together, people will do stuff just because it's the greater good of all. He's like, so if you understand that psychology and you start making your business, your content, your marketing, your products all about the message and how it serves the mission of the tribe, you're going to always feel great about your sales because you're like, You're just putting out what the tribe wants. And they feel the need to give to the tribe, so they know if we all learn this and we all do this together, we all rise together. He's like, that's the message you need to know before you worry about any of that stuff. So we're no different, just because you might be like, I'm a brand new coach and I might be making $100 a week, $500. It's the same thing. Do you want to start making the million? Start laying more message in to what you're doing. And if you're like, I don't know how, study it. Start doing that more. Start being like, that makes my agenda. Less TV, less excuse bullshit, less this and that. I'm going to study how to write my message. I'm going to study social media marketing. I'm going to study how do I tell stories better. I'm going to study how to do email marketing. All the ways that I can scale my message out in bigger ways. Make sense? Around the house? More message, more mission. You guys will freaking put that all out there. To cap off that one thing, here's last thing I want you to know. So we were at $1.3 billion last year for Beachbody. Those of you that don't know, because Carl shares this more at CAD stuff, and he shares this more at the leadership events. We are on a 50-50 revenue share, Team Beachbody and Beachbody. So when $1.3 billion comes into the company, half of that goes out to Team Beachbody, to coaches. So $625 million or $650 million. This year, we're on track for $1.5 billion. So again, back to the coaches, we're saturated. Is it still too late? I don't know. We saw nice growth this year. We ain't too late in shit. The only question, and as Carl put it, is, are you getting your share? He's like, I'm going to pay $700 million out to this team network. If you're not getting your share, it's your fault. Go get your share. It's there for the taking. Are you ladies, gentlemen, willing to grind for it and willing to keep at it? Are you going to be here 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Are you willing to commit that long to make it happen? You'll get your share. If you don't believe that that's going to happen, you don't want to work for it, do the team and everybody else a favor and just get out. It'll free up time, space, energy, all the good stuff. And it's actually good for you, because then you're like, it's something that I should be doing something else. I should be going to do something else. Because if you don't want to go shout from the heavens about these products and this business, and you're not willing to wait for some freaking cure, but instead to earn it and work it, I think it's fair to call it. It's not going to work in this model, at least. Not to say you won't be successful in something else. But here, that's what the bottom line it has to come down to. Be passionate about the products, the business, grind it out, get your message out in bigger ways. Cool? Cool? Does that help? Hopefully. Let's see if you guys have any questions or something that you want me to hit. Anybody that wants a little laser coaching, let's go. I can dig out about 10 more minutes here.
I have a question.
Kasha, go.
Kasaya, that's okay. Okay.
Calling me out, and I'm open to it. It's perfect.
So you're talking about, I feel like all the time there's this message like, invite the coaching opportunity, invite the coaching opportunity, get coaches on. But what I got from what you were saying is we need to kind of filter that. Am I right? Like, meaning we shouldn't just be inviting, every challenger we get or everybody we have. We really need to see the potential in coaches before we invite them. Is that true?
One, perceptive question. I like that question a lot, actually, because there's two factions of thinking on this. And that's a really smart question, actually, because there's two different ways to look at it. Like, Trina and I have built this business on a very different psychology than what a lot of the classic network marketer style people build it, where they're like, freaking funnel as many people in, invite as many. We got 122 Success Club points. We have 122 coaches coming in. 2 of them last. That's never been our model. The high numbers model that way. We've been more about like, I rather get 2 to 3, 2 to 4 coaches on a month, be able to nurture them, give them as much as I can, and really turn them into leaders. Because we also do have other business models. This isn't our only business model out there. And I really want to only work with the willing, that I am an advocate of the idea of screen people better, have some hoops that they have to jump through. I just don't blindly have systems the way some top coaches do. I know pretty much many of the top 10 coaches have systems that they just sign up coaches that they don't even know that the person is there until the person's hit like through their basics training. It's almost a month and a half. And then they're like, oh, this person made it through all those automated trainings. Now I'm ready to really like do stuff with this person and whatnot, which when you're running that numbers game, I don't think that's a bad model because that at least allows you scale, but it's never been our version of the way we build it. But that's a choice for you to kind of make. That I've just been always a believer of find the people that you really do want to work with, because you're going to spend a lot of time with them and you're going to get in their lives and you're going to get to know them. That make sure that it is somebody that has the same beliefs, the same ethic, the same ideas, the same hopefully values as you. That would be my best advice without telling you there is no right or wrong. It's just more the choice, the way you want to build it and the way you want to go with things. Does that help out? Cool. Who else? Katie, what's happening with you? I'm going to just pick on people.
Oh, well, thank you. So what's happening with me is your whole thing about having a message like really hit home with me, because I think that I'm really excited about your new group about social media and how to kind of change up my posts to get more engagement. I feel like I've kind of had this sort of roller coaster effect with my posts. I feel like sometimes I was kind of talking to a niche and getting good involvement, but then it kind of has dipped off as if folks are kind of getting bored with what I have to say at this point.
Well, okay, so I actually went and checked out, like I did a little bit of research just to see about people on the call and whatnot. So I went and checked out some of your social media, because anybody that's kind of starting to get in the social media content generator, I'm doing a little peeking in on them before we go into the group. You remember what I was talking about, the generalist trap? Where when you just like, so I saw like you did some exercise stuff. If you're going to post exercise stuff, let's use this as an example. And this goes around the house, like in particular, exercise and food shit, stuff like that. If you don't really have clarity of who the tribe member is, you won't know how to aim that content to solve a problem. So if you're going to post about like, hey, look at my meal. Look at this cool stuff I just shopped for. Look at this whole thing. They're either like, dude, I don't feel like being a voyeur in your life. Although there are freaking douchebags like that. Don't get me wrong. But there isn't really that much value to that unless you're like, let's just say you work with busy professional women. Let's use that as an example. To the busy professional woman, anything in her regard is just like, if you ask me to do anything that's over 5 to 10 minutes, one, I want to punch you in the head as if I have that time, because my biggest obstacle to everything in my life is time. I have barely the time to have breakfast. I have barely the time to get my workouts. I have barely the time to dress my children. I have barely the time to have sex with my husband. I have barely the time to freaking manage my people at my freaking work. And time is my problem. And then I do this with Fit Pros all the time. I'm like, I love when you guys create the 92-page like grocery list for your people, and you think that they can go just shop grass-fed beef and quinoa and all this stuff, and they can chop up 62 perfect freaking meals every day, as if like they're skipping breakfast every day. Every day. They think coffee's breakfast because they're just hoping their child is not naked and walking outside the house right now, and they're just trying to get to work, and yet you guys think they're us. You think they're us. You think that they walk around with a jacket like, which protein bar you need? Which shaker cup? I got shaker cups in my freaking every corner. I got them like a holster. That's not how they live. You're not thinking about them. That I'm like, get into their mind. So if you're like, hey, I know my tribe members' issues time. Let me make sure that when I make my posts, I'm like, hey, you ever just find yourself totally on the go and you're like, I don't know what to do? Here's a recipe that you can do in 60 seconds or less and not need more than 2 ingredients. And it's still healthy, and your kids will like it. They're like, you get me. Now that was good content because it was about the tribe member's problem and an inherent want. She's like, I want to be able to feed myself healthy, but also feed my kid healthy. So now there was also an inherent want. So if you just take the time to start carving out your avatar a little bit better and stop trying to talk to everybody, you're going to be able to start being like, I know what kind of content, because you're going to learn it. Katie, are you in the course, Katie? You're in the course, right?
I'm going to be signing up.
Okay, cool. So here's the thing. I always just teach this 4x10 method. You got to know your top 10 stories, top 10 challenges, problems, wants of your like your stories that are all in relation to challenges, wants, ambitions, aspirations, issues, problems, struggles, etc. of your tribe. Because then you're like, anytime I need to think of a post, let me just think of the one of the problems my tribe member has, or one of the wants. And I like to always kind of like fuse the both in there so that I can aim this post. Like I can literally be like, here's Anna and me in New Orleans at a Pearl Jam concert, having a thing. And I'm like, why am I sharing this? Is because I'm like, now I really appreciate these moments to live this kind of a lifestyle, because 10 years ago, I didn't have this. I was stuck in a studio. I was stuck in debt. I was stuck grinding it out, that I don't think I appreciate what I had now compared to what was then. So I know that my tribe person, the fitness coach, the fit pro, the person that's building it, they're like, oh, I want that kind of a lifestyle. But I don't have to poke them in the eye with it. I get to paint it. But then I relate the fact that now the way I think, remember how I told you guys it's all about how we think? I'm like, the way I think about this now is, one, I was so happy for the grind. And I was so happy to be living this experience, because I might not have this moment again. So to be able to be present here, Pearl Jam on the stage, the freaking Prince symbol up in the sky a couple days after he freaking passed and whatnot. And I'm like, I'm able to be here with my wife. And we literally just chose to do the vacation because I'm a nerd and I'm like, Pearl Jam is playing in New Orleans. I've never been to New Orleans, and I will follow Pearl Jam pretty much anywhere in the world. So we can do this. So let's go. Let's go see the world. So my tribe wants that, but I'm like, most of you don't want to grind the years it took to get here. Make that choice, and you get to have this kind of a life. So I get to teach them how to think, challenge them in a post, use a story from life, use images that relate to that. And now I'm like, I'm learning how to craft posts to my tribe. And then sometimes you're just like, that wasn't my best one. But it doesn't matter whether, oh no, nobody hit like. I'm gonna cry. Nobody hit this. Nobody made a comment. So what? The world isn't like, let me stop all the time and check out your life, unless you're doing something for me in my life, because they don't want to know what's in it for them. So if your posts don't speak to what's in it for them, and you're not out there constantly helping them figure out a way to go from where they are to, by the way, just so you know, all marketing is only about two things: the before state and the after state, which I call the unhappy face and the happy face. Because everybody is unhappy with something, and they want to be happy. If you can figure out what they're not happy with, like example, right now, I know a lot of my tribe is unhappy with their marketing and their social media. So I'm painting a picture of how they can have more likes, more comments, more fans, more followers by improving it and being in this happy place where their marketing and social media are getting that. So the only value I'm painting is go from here where your marketing, social media sucks, to go from here where you feel more confident and competent in your marketing, or your social media in particular. That's the thing. So are you thinking about, how the hell am I always communicating and articulating and demonstrating the value to my tribe that I can take them from where they are to where they want to be? If you do that, you're going to start delivering value. If you deliver value, you will command whatever rate you want in the market, and you'll be able to build whatever tribe that you want in the market. Make sense, Katie?
Completely.
Yeah, it's not. I don't want to give you like in the thing. I'm giving you some tactics. But most importantly, I want you to think this way.
Mm-hmm.
Because then if the media changes, if anything ever changes, you're like, it doesn't matter whether it's this tool or that media or that thing anymore. I know what I got to do for people. Makes sense?
Yes.
Cool.
Thank you.
You got it. One more, and then, look, we got even some young kids on the line. You always know, just so you know, headsets. It's earmuffs at all times when I'm around. Parents know that when I'm on, if their kids are around, they're like, exactly, F-bombs left and right. I've got kids learning the whole new language, and the parents do not like me. I can't help it. Got to be true to ourselves, people. Got to be true. So, any last-minute thoughts? Things I can help you guys out with? Otherwise, I expect to hit it, Natalie.
Okay, so I had a question that, so from a lot of trainings, we've always been taught to obviously share and not sell. And part of that is we don't want to like plaster like Beachbody everything all over all of our stuff. But yet, like from what I got from you, like we should not be afraid to say, I'm a Beachbody coach, I help other people, and Beachbody has been the company that has allowed me to do this. Like, is there a happy medium between the two where we can?
Yeah, I mean, first thing this is like, your identity, sure, you know, if you want to label something, you're a Beachbody coach, cool. But you're Natalie Cardella. You are the brand. And what you develop and the message that you put out. And I think like that's the real brand. Nobody's going to join just because you're a Beachbody coach. They're going to join because they look at you, Natalie, and they're like, that woman can lead me to somewhere I want to be. So don't worry about the Beachbody coach thing. If you're like, hey, one of the models and one of the ways and one of the things that opportunities that came into my life is really just the fact that like, I love fitness. I love wellness. This company's got some amazing tools that I didn't want to go invent, that I wanted to partner with and just go out there and use. Awesome. But I developed the mind, the practice, the discipline, the way to be successful. Because if you demonstrate that, you're putting like Beachbody is what made me successful. Beachbody isn't what made you successful. You made you successful. And the way you think, the way you act, the way you behave, who you surround yourself with now. So it's not really about Beachbody per se. It's really about environment, who we're on here with, coaching, mentoring, the way you changed, the way you became a different person, what you learned, how you started to behave. Do you guys ever talk about that stuff, and do you demonstrate that stuff in your social media? Do you demonstrate or ever share, you're like, I can't believe a year ago, I used to be I'm making crap up right now. I used to be the person that was like afraid, let alone just, I have a super pet peeve with people that are like, I don't want to feel salesy. I don't want, and they look at that word as bad. I'm like, people, the entire world revolves around sales. Everything revolves. I mean, I had to sell Anna to get her to marry me. Like that was a sale. That was like the biggest sale I ever had to freaking make. But everything we do, barring like I can walk in and be like, Natalie, I will give you this glass of wine if you give me those jeans that you made over there. Let us barter again. If that doesn't fucking exist anymore, you better start embracing sales. And if you're not good at sales, or you fear sales, you worry about sales, that will chop block your success right now. You could forget about being successful in this business. I'm not saying you can't reframe it in the idea that, yes, we share, but that's mental gymnastics we take people through just because you're like, I need to for a little while. Make sure your ego isn't fucked up and you worry about other people's judgments because you're a sale. But I just turn it around to people and I'm like, I just love looking at people's clothes and whatnot. And I'm like, hey, those jeans, did you barter for those bitches? Did you stitch them yourself? You made those things? No, you bought them? Did you steal them? You thief. No, you didn't steal them. You bought them. But you hate that motherfucker that sold you them, right? What a bastard. What a bitch. No, you don't think that person's evil and fucked up in the world and whatnot? They're okay? Why? Because you're like, your ass was big and you wanted tighter jeans so you look good on your date Friday night? Because you had a need, you're like, oh shit, I got to go out Friday night and I need jeans to make me look good and whatnot. You thought they were cool, they're going to make you look sexy. So you had a want, you had a need, so you bought them and you felt good. Are you ever thinking about how what you sell and what you offer helps somebody feel good or solves a problem or wants a need? Because then you're never really selling. You're out there solving problems. You're giving people tools to or you're giving them solutions, whatever the case might be. But just ditching the idea that sales are bad will free you up. And back to the point, you will be like, I got to get these products out. I don't care whether you think I'm sales or not. I don't care whether I got to say I'm sharing or I'm selling. It doesn't make a difference. I'm putting tools into people's hands to change their lives. It might be it's the fact that, yep, I got to sell you a shake barring you are willing to come to my house and mow my lawn. Are you willing to come to my house and mow my lawn? No? Because then I'll save $150. No? Then fucking buy my shakes. Because then I'll fix your fitness. Otherwise, you know, we really got to get away with that. We got to do away with that mindset. And you got to be able to call each other out on that. And just be like, really? Because then I want you in a monastery. I want you a nun. I want you to be a nun. Stop buying crap. Even though I've seen nuns buy stuff. I've seen priests and whatnot. Or start a 501c. Start something, because if you don't understand, the entire world is about selling things to people. It's the intent of why you sell. Because you can have the scumbags. Intention is what makes the difference. You can have scumbags that just want to sell people to make a buck. Yeah, that's the problem. But if you're like, I sell this because these are the tools that people need, because I know you have right now a problem with the fact that your problem is you skip breakfast every day. That's your problem. And because of that, you have a fat loss problem. Those are your two interconnected problems right now. And you tell me you have a time problem. And that's why you keep skipping breakfast, which keeps adding on the freaking cottage cheese to your ass. That's what's connecting all this. So if you want time problem, breakfast problem, and cottage cheese on your ass problem to go away, here's Shakeology, so you stop using the breakfast excuse every day. Now we just solved that. Now we're going to finally be able to start minimizing. We just got rid of that time breakfast problem away. We just got rid of that freaking skipping breakfast problem away. And we might be just doing something about getting your ass in those jeans again. If that's what you care about. I don't know if that's what she cares about. I'm just being slightly a douche. But do you see the difference in the way of thinking about it?
Yeah.
So even if it's the business opportunity, Natalie, what has that all done for you? Have you ever just sat down and taken an inventory of like, it has gotten me more time with it got rid of my problem of no time with my kids. It got rid of me of my problem of being surrounded by douches at a job I hate. It got rid of the problem of me like not feeling I'm not contributing to the family. It got rid of a problem of me feeling like I want to go contribute to the world, but I don't want to put my kids in daycare. And that's going to be a problem. Instead, oh my God, I set my own schedule. I work my own hours. I do everything for my own time. I get to earn as much money or as little money as I want. I get to work from anywhere in the world and whatnot. All those problems are gone. Are you talking about it that way to people? Because that's actually what they want to hear. Not, hi, would you like to be a Beachbody coach and enjoy this Beachbody opportunity? We sell Shakeology and fitness DVDs and programs. You too can have a part of this opportunity. You just need to sign the dotted line today. Nobody wants that. Make sense? That's why your stories are way more important than anything. Cool?
Totally. Yep.
Love it, peeps. All right, peeps, I got to tag out. They're waiting for me at dinner. It was awesome connecting with you guys. Hopefully we'll get a chance to do it again. Hopefully I see some of you guys in 3.0, 4.0, in any of our social media stuff and all the things that we got going out there. You guys got a good leader on your hands, even though she's usually wasted and drunk. Tierney's got good control of you guys. You stay close to her, stay tight with her and whatnot. You guys are in good hands. Cool?
Thanks, Vito.
Thank you,
Pleasure,
Vito.
ladies. Ciao, guys.
Bye. Joss, will you hit stop record?